What up, Wholesale to Million family? Man, you guys, today I'm bringing you guys the most powerful couple in the business, all right? So if you guys don't know them, dude, if you guys don't, these are the Polite. They are crushing the game, going at it together, building the real estate empire. I'm going to have them share with you guys their stories, how they're able to, the whole work-life balance and marriage and all of that. And also, too, is building a, obviously, a real estate empire. So you guys, please get a piece of paper, get a pen, take some notes, but listen, they're going to drop some bombs, some knowledge, but knowledge without execution is worthless. So please take what they share with you, and you better go do it and make things happen. So you guys, if this video added any value to you, please show my guest some love, smash the thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, smash the subscribe button. But no further ado, please put your thumb together. Help me welcome the Polite. What's going on, you guys?
What's up, Khang?
Hey, what's going on,
How
Khang?
you doing, man?
Good, man. Dude, I am so excited to have you guys on. The first powerhouse couple that I have on, I think.
Oh, awesome.
So I'll let you guys introduce yourself, share your stories. I want to know all about it.
So, ladies first. I'll let my wife go first.
Well, I am Crystal Polite, half of BEPOLITE Properties, where we say it costs nothing to be polite. I'm originally from Boston, by way of North Carolina. So we are currently back in North Carolina, but I grew up in Boston, which is where I met my husband in Boston. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 18 years old when I started my very first business. And I've always been an entrepreneur since 18. I went to college. I wrote, produced, and directed my own stage play. From there, I started my nonprofit. When I met my husband, I was in the process of trying to open up a teen nightclub. That was my huge to-do at that time when I met him. And I said, hey, listen, this is what I want to do. Are you on board? He was like, absolutely. And we were just talking. We weren't even dating. We were just talking. I just said, hey, listen, I told him while we were talking, these are my goals. Do you want to be a part of it? He was like, absolutely. So I knew then he was a keeper, and we were probably like 2 dates in. So, but that is me. We have 2 boys.
Wow.
Kenny and Keenan. So we are literally building this empire with them, because everything we do, they do. So the sacrifices we make, they make. And anyone who got kids know that. So even the time spent away from them is a sacrifice for us and them. And now my husband.
Yeah. So I'm Dedrick Polite, one half of BEPOLITE Properties. Born in South Carolina, raised in Boston. Attended high school and college in Boston, went to a school called Amherst College, had a full academic scholarship to Amherst, which is an Ivy League school. But they don't teach you how to make money there. They teach you how to become a high paid employee. So I graduated school and did what everyone taught you to do. You go to a good school, which I did. They tell you to get a good job and work in corporate America for the rest of your life and try to get some benefits. And hopefully you'll retire at age 65 and get a nice gold watch. After a few years in corporate America, I figured that, that path didn't exist anymore, and it wasn't for me. So I started looking for ways to make extra money outside of my corporate job. I've always been in the sales and marketing space in corporate America. So I started various side hustles. I've sold everything from vitamins to insurance to knives to pharmaceuticals, the legal kind. My first 6 years out of college, I was a pharmaceutical sales rep for a big pharma company. But again, I was always looking for something extra, always looking for something different, always wanted to start my own business. But I was someone that really suffered from analysis paralysis. So I would read all these books and go to all these seminars, and I wouldn't do anything for years until I met this woman. She's the one who kicked me out off the door, kicked me off the ledge, and was like, dude, you got to take action. You can't just read all these books and not do nothing. You're smart, you're talented, you have to take action. So once we got together, again, we became, entrepreneurs together. We're on this journey. So yeah, that's my background.
Wow. Well, the thing is, I can tell you, we have something in common, because I really thought that I was just going I really thought that I was just going to go work at a regular job and come home and play the video games for the rest of my life. But my wife said, my wife's the one that my wife is the one that pushes me, man. Just same thing, right? It seems like every successful man had a very strong woman behind him.
Absolutely.
So now let me ask you guys. So, Crystal, when you met your husband, was it like, how do you know that he was the one?
So when I met him, we actually met at a gas station. Right.
Okay.
It's so random.
It was really random. But I tell people this is how God works, because it was a gas station that was kind of like in the middle of where I lived and where he lived. It was also a gas station that neither one of us typically ever stopped at. Come to find out, we both thought it was just like a front for a drug business, because they never had gas. So no matter when you came, there was never gas there. So just that particular day, I was almost out of gas, because, you know, women do that. Like, I'll go all the way down to E and then be like, oh, running and racing to the gas station. So I got to the gas station. I start pumping, and he come around the pump, and he introduces himself to me. And as he introduces himself to me, I literally look, and I was like, okay. And he's talking to me, and we're, you know, going back and forth as I'm pumping. And he asked me to take my glasses off, because I had shades on. He asked me to take my shades off, and I took my shades off, and he was like, oh, wow, you have such beautiful eyes. And I said, oh, thank you. And I put it back on. It wasn't until later that he told me why, which was he thought I was cockeyed.
I want to make sure you weren't. You didn't have an eye going this way. I had to make sure everything else was perfect. I had to look at the eye.
But when we left each other, I called my closest girlfriend, and I said, hey, real weird. I said, I literally just met the guy that I'm going to marry.
What?
And she was like, what? She's like, oh, you're kidding. I was like, no, weirdest thing. I literally just met him. And she's like, are you serious? I was like, dude, I just met him at the gas station. And she was like, at a gas station? I say, yep, at the gas station. I literally just met him. And it was within minutes of leaving the gas station. But I tell people the reason why I knew it was him is because I had literally been dreaming of him for years.
What?
But never saw his face. His body, it was like this part would just be blanked out. His beard, I mean, his face, like everything. He didn't have a beard then. His entire face, his hair, his body shape, everything was identical.
Weird,
so
I know.
That's
okay,
why
girl, this is getting crazy, girl. Come on, man.
That's why when I saw him, I was like, oh, And I said it to myself, like, wow, this is him. And that's all I said to myself as he's talking. I'm like, wow, this is him, finally. So immediately I was like, okay. And I told her, I said, yep, this is him. When he left, he ended up calling one of his closest friends and told his friend the exact same thing.
And
Wait,
then my friend proceeded to try to friend request her on Facebook, and I had to get smacked down.
Wait, bro, don't tell me you have the same dreams, bro.
No, I didn't have the dream, but I called my friend. I was like, I just met the most beautiful woman I've ever seen.
Wow.
I was telling him all about her, and then this dude went and tried to friend request her on Facebook. And she called me, was like, somebody sent me a friend request on Facebook, and the only common friend is you. I was like, what's the name? I'm like, oh my God, I know this dude didn't try to friend request you.
So for you too, is love at first sight?
Yes.
Yep.
Holy smokes. Wow. Okay. You know what? I've heard people talk about it. When I met my wife, I don't really know if it was love at first sight, but now I'm starting to believe that from the stories, I start to believe that it is true that people can have that. That's crazy.
Yeah. It was crazy for me. I'm telling you, when I seen him, I was like, oh wow, this is him.
And we're not the type that really believed in that type of stuff, but that's how it happened for us.
When I seen him, that premonition came back. You know how you have those dreams and people be like deja vu?
Mm-hmm.
And every time I've seen him, he's been in my dreams a million times. I just never saw his face.
Wow.
So I could hear his voice. I could hear
What?
everything, but I never saw his face. So when he literally opened his mouth, I couldn't even tell you what he said. When people were like, oh, what did you talk about? All I remember is he asked me to take my shades off. He handed me his business card and I handed him mine. And I did that specifically just to show him we're on even playing fields. So I didn't say, oh, hey, you can put my phone number in your phone. He handed me his business card. I said, here you go. So I set the tone early with how this was going to go when we met. So.
Wow. What an amazing stories. What an amazing story. So now, so at the time, you two weren't doing real estate. So how do you get together and then saying, hey, real estate, it's the route that you guys want to go?
So we started with Airbnb.
Our first date.
Our first date was a business.
Dude, you guys started.
So it wasn't like I tell people, I didn't care what type of foods he liked. I didn't care his favorite color. I wasn't asking where he grew up and friends. I said, hey, listen, what are your short-term goals? Meaning, like, what are you going to be doing in the next 6 months?
Dang. Okay.
I said, are you an entrepreneur? And that was more important to me than anything because
she interviewed me. This is our first date.
Dang, girl. She's filtering right away. She's qualifying and filtering.
Oh, she qualified the heck out of me, but it was refreshing because most dates you go on,
right?
It's real superficial.
Yeah.
Oh, what are you
dude?
Like? I ain't that.
Hey, bro. That's when.
Anyway.
Yeah, that's when you know That's when you know you're meeting the true hustler right there.
Yeah. And when two hustlers get together, magic happens.
I love it.
And I told him, I said, are you an entrepreneur? He said, absolutely. I said, listen, anyone who's going to be with me has to be an entrepreneur because only another entrepreneur can understand an entrepreneur's hustle.
Yeah.
They're going to be the ones that understand like, hey, listen, I'm going to leave 6-figure job to build something for us on the side. Only that type of person is going to understand that struggle. So I said, listen, I'm an entrepreneur. Are you? He was like, absolutely. I said, what are some of the things you've done? He ran them down. I said, do you plan on living in Boston forever? He said, no, I mean, I don't have to. I said, okay, good. Because anyone who's going to be with me must plan to move.
Ooh.
And he was like, listen, I'm always open to, and he loves to travel. So like he stayed gone when we first met, which I love because I love to travel. So I told him, I said, listen, this is what I have going on. This is what I have lined up. And I could see him automatically meshing with everything that I had going on. I could only see him complimenting that. So when we got together and when he had got fired for the first time in his life from his job and he had gotten like depressed, he was down. I came home one day and I saw him still like in this like really bad funk. And I told him like, yo, what's going on? How are you? And he was just like, oh, nothing. And at that point, I just told him, I said, listen, that job lost you. You didn't lose that job. Don't ever tie your self-worth to your net worth.
Wow.
I told him, I said,
boom.
F that job.
Boom.
Boom. Wow, girl. Man, wow. Okay, keep going.
F the job. I said, this is what you're going to do starting tomorrow. I said, you're going to go ahead, file that unemployment, because he wasn't even going to file for unemployment. We don't play them games.
I was embarrassed. I had never been fired before, and I got canned. So I was depressed, like she said. I was real down in dumps. But this woman right here picked me back up.
I said, no, you're going to file that unemployment, get that check. And in the meantime, you're going to find your purpose, your true purpose. I said, every day I want you to get out here and just enjoy yourself. Take this as a working vacation where you can now deep dive into what you really want to do in life. Don't worry about the bills. I'll take care of the bills. Don't worry about anything. I'll take care of all of that. You just find out what you really want to do in life. And he was like, well, I can't let you do that because you got your own bill. Because I still have my own apartment. He's like, oh, you got your own bills. I said, listen, it's not open for discussion. It's done. You get out here and find what your passion really is.
You don't find many women like that. So I knew
God.
There he ended up from day one. And, a lot of women was like, well, how did you know he wasn't just going to sit on the sofa and stuff? I said, because that's not the type of man that I would have ever been attracted to. If he was going to be sitting on the sofa, he would have been doing that when I first met him.
Mm.
So I told them, I said, from day one, he went out there and started his consulting business, got invited to speak at Harvard, started networking with other individuals, came up with Airbnb. I think a coworker had told you about it.
Yeah, this is in 2012.
Before it blew up. And he was like, hey, I think we could find a way to make some money by renting out your apartment. And I said, oh, okay, tell me about it. He was like, oh, well, this is what you do. People come from all over. They rent your place. Da, da, da. He was like, oh, but man, your brother lives there. And I said, well, he did. Give me a second. Got on the phone. I called my brother that exact moment. I said, listen, you got 2 weeks to move. And he was like, what? I said, the place is being rented out, so you have 2 weeks to move. He's like, oh, well, I'm not going to find anything. I said, listen, 2 weeks. Talk to you later. Got off the phone. And I said, listen, well, what do you want to start with? How do we start this? And he was like, let me do some more research. He did more research, found everything we needed, the furnishings, all this stuff. He got the place up and rented in weeks, week or two. And that was just him having the time to pull back from corporate America, find his purpose, find his passion. And from that point on, we have literally been on an incline just from, with that Airbnb, we made like $40,000 in like 4 months.
What?
Yeah. And we're in the city of Boston, and it was like an 800 square foot apartment. It was, what was it? It was 800 square feet and 1 bedroom. But it was in the city of Boston, directly on a train line. So he had researched all of this prior.
And that's how we complement each other, Khang, is she's a visionary, I'm the integrator, right? So she comes up with all these grandiose plans. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. And I'm the one that has to figure out what is the steps in between, right? Wow. So we really, it's like yin and yang. We complement each other perfectly.
And from that real estate, he was just like, I think I want to get, he said he'd always had a passion for real estate. But I would just see all of these books at his house on real estate. Tapes, CDs, DVDs, all about real estate.
I was a hell of a reader, but I wasn't a hell of an action taker.
It was like, back then. He's like, oh, I think I really want to get in real estate. And he kept saying it. And I'm the type who, I don't want to hear it. Like, it's either we're going to do it.
Show me.
Man. Like, show me wow. Show me the money. Wow.
And I had to tell him, I said, okay, well, we're going to be doing real estate. So I started researching. And once I start researching, it's over. You already know we're doing it.
It's no stopping it.
We're not going back if I have to start doing my own research. So the moment I started, and I think the first person he found was Nasser.
Yeah, Nasser out of Charlotte, the real estate guru. I found him in like 2015.
Yep. And then he found Max. And when I started researching, I found, what's his name?
Mark Whitten.
Mark Whitten.
All these people wholesaling, because he kept saying this wholesaling, got to figure out how to do this. I started researching him. And then next thing you know, he was like, hey, listen, this guy, Max, you got to follow him. And when we started following Max, he had maybe like 3 videos on YouTube at the time. 2017, early 2017.
Yeah, he had literally less than like 5 videos on.
And he was in North Carolina. And we're like, hold on, we live in North Carolina.
Okay.
This guy's actually wholesaling houses, making money in North Carolina. So we saw he was having a meetup locally in our area, and we're like, let's go and see if this dude is real, or if he's one of those fake gurus online. Yep. And we went to one of his meetups in March of 2018.
Yep, his first
meetup he did, and we met him. And he was exactly how he was on YouTube. He was down to earth. He sat down with us. We chatted. He was like, hey, what are you guys looking to do? We told him our goals. He was like, oh, man, I could just look at y'all, look at your backgrounds. Y'all are going to kill this. You're going to crush it. And, it's been off to the races since then.
And, of course, Dedrick had reached out to him a ton of times online. So you guys had spoken a couple of times. Because my husband, like, Dedrick is very persistent. So if he wants to reach someone, he's going to reach you. And he had spoken to him a few times. So that's why when we got to the meetup, and he was like, oh, yeah, no, y'all right down the street from me. And I'm like, yeah. Because Dedrick is like, hey, and I know you get them all the time because we get them. People will DM you a million questions. Even on the deal, they'll send the deal over to you and ask you to analyze it for them.
Yep.
Yeah.
So So Desiree, we have another thing in common, man. Persistent. Like you guys, so obviously I understand that they get a lot of DM. Dude, I DM nonstop. I DM until I can get them onto the channel so they can share with you guys because their stories is amazing. So that's why I say, you know what? I ain't going to stop. If they don't reply, they're gonna get 10 times more than what they just got.
Khang was not taking no for an answer, and we didn't say no. We hadn't had the time to sit down, but we're glad we're on your show.
Understood. And for those of you who's watching, man, if you don't know Maxwell, like if you haven't followed him, that guy stood. He gives out massive information. Whatever I give out, times it by 10, times by 100. All right. He's a true giver. So if you haven't followed him, you should hit him up, but he has some really great content. So, okay. So now you guys are doing the Airbnb. Now dive into the wholesaling back in 2017.
Well, we had something between that. So between Airbnb and wholesaling, we actually bought a franchise. So we had an animal scooter franchise. Actually, the guy who first found out about it.
A what?
Animal scooters. This guy was in the Pacific Northwest. He had these little scooters that your kids can rent and ride around the shopping mall. These little animal rides. You seen those?
Mm-hmm.
So we actually ran into a guy. It turned out he was a motivated seller. He owned 11 different locations of these animal scooters in different malls in 3 states.
Dang,
he
okay.
Put an ad out saying he wanted to sell. We contacted him, and
he didn't put an ad out. I was doing research.
Oh, you researched.
And I found this guy who owned all of these. So I said, listen to my husband. I said, listen, let's get on the phone, call him, and see if he's open to selling any of them. He got on the phone with him, and he was like, well, actually, I mean, I could definitely sell the ones I have in North Carolina because they're so far from me.
You live like 11 hours away.
I don't really want to have to, I'm tired of managing them long distance. It's such a headache. I know people are stealing from me. So he was a tired landlord. So
tired business owner.
Literally.
Yeah. Wow.
So
okay.
we ended up buying the business for like half of what his original asking price was. So we bought into it. We both still had corporate jobs. So she was working corporate America, I was, but we bought this franchise. So we're running it, part-time. It's generating passive income for us. So we did that for about a year and a half. We got it up to about 300,000 in revenues.
Wait,
annual revenues.
A year?
Yeah, 300,000 a year.
From three? Wait, dude, bro, hold on a second, because my wife and I, right, before we started the whole real estate thing, we own a little kiosk that sell hair extension in the mall. So I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. That animal scooter just recently popped up, and it came into the mall, and I saw a bunch of kids, and it's very popular to the kids. So is it one kiosk or 3 kiosks that generate you $300K?
3 different malls, 3 different kiosks. 2
Gotcha.
States. Yeah, North Carolina and New Hampshire.
Gotcha. Because the thing is, a lot of people underestimate this kiosk. My wife and I with those hair extensions, you guys, dude, we're making just 1 kiosk. We were making like 300 or so a year.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So in that wet and wavy Brazilian, huh?
And I'm telling you, even at the mall that we were at, and that was really over 2, because one of them we literally got up and running for 1 month. The one in New Hampshire, we got up and running for a month. And our tech guy, the guy who we hired to fix all the animals and stuff, he asked if him and his wife could buy it because they loved it. So we ended up literally selling that one separate, making off of that one?
About 30 grand. We invested about 15 grand into it.
Yeah, we invested like 15 and made 30.
So after a year and a half, we sold that business, and then we doubled our money, what we invested in it, sold it for double what we paid for it. And
wow.
We took those funds and we rolled it over into real estate, into getting educated on how to do creative real estate investing.
So you guys flip businesses?
Yes.
Yeah, we flip businesses before real estate, and we
holy smokes.
We're serial entrepreneurs, Khang. So we're not just real estate. We own other businesses. We're launching new businesses outside of real estate. But real estate is a pillar, of course, of any person who's looking to build.
All right, dude. All right, I want to hear all of it. Okay, so from that, so the real estate's okay.
Yeah.
So
and from there, we ended up. That's when we deep dove into wholesaling. aspect of it.
Not just wholesale, no,
And buy and hold and wholesale. The thing that we did that shortened our learning curve from a lot of people is we took that money and we invested in education.
We knew we needed to learn from experts and coaches and mentors to shorten our learning curve.
Not just YouTube University.
Right.
So
nothing wrong with YouTube. We watch YouTube and learn every day, but to take it to the next level, we joined a mastermind where we spent $16,000 to join a mastermind before we had closed one deal.
Hadn't closed one deal.
Wow.
$16,000 because we knew we needed to get around other A players who were playing at a high level, full time, making 6-7 figures a year in order to shorten our learning curve. So we invested in that. That was one of the best investments we made.
Absolutely. So we literally went. And once we knew all the moving parts of real estate, we would then hire experts in those areas. So we hired an expert to teach us marketing, nothing but marketing. So we had like Podio and CallRail and all of these investment systems.
Before we had closed one deal.
Hadn't closed one deal.
But we knew we were building a 7-figure business. So we said we need to set it up right.
Wow.
But all of these people that we hired were making millions. Like they were multimillionaires in real estate. And these are the systems that they use. So they're not going to say, hey, listen, well, you can get this for cheaper. They don't do that. They're like, listen, these are my systems.
Yep.
This is what I use. They were not going to divert us to, okay, well, instead of getting this because your budget may be, you can get this, which is, a little cheaper on your budget. They had us spending hundreds of dollars on different softwares, $200, $300 every month, and we still hadn't done one deal. So when the time came, by the time we literally, for an entire year, we tried to close our first deal. And we had deals, and they were either snaked from us, so then that was a learning experience. We go back to a mentor, hey, this is what happened. And he's like, they taught us, listen, stop putting your deals on social media. Stop putting them on Craigslist. That's when they said, listen, you got to learn your market. You got to become experts in your markets. And that's when I started deep diving into the markets that we were in and learning.
This woman is a marketing ninja. Talk about motivated seller lead gen. She's like a whisperer. She whispers and they just come out of the woodwork.
She's the motivated seller whisperer. She is a killer, man.
And I tell people, it's not as hard as you think to get one deal. It's to get the processes, the systems in place to keep those deals continuously coming.
How do you look at marketing, though? She has a very analytical mind.
It's a puzzle to me.
She looks at it like a puzzle.
And I love puzzles. So it interests me a lot to get into these different markets, find the type of people who live here, their age, the demographics, how many kids are in each household, the schools, and tie all of that into how I'm going to market to this area. And once I really deep dove and I shut everything else out and I just really deep dove into our markets. And at the time we were in North Carolina and Boston's market. So I had to do it for both. And then I had to realize hey, listen, people in North Carolina answer the phone differently than people in Boston. You have a smaller window with people from Boston the moment they say hello to North Carolina. How you say your first 2 words matter more in Boston than in North Carolina. North Carolina will talk to you longer on the phone, but they're not going to be quick to give you their information. But they will talk to you for an hour about cramps and pains and children, and they're just a lot more hospitable. And yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir. Boston is hello, what, no, click. So it's a 4-second window to capture someone in Boston. How, if it's an older demographic in North Carolina, how do I market to them? So once I figured that out, that's why Deal Machine became so powerful to us. Once I figured that out, I did really targeted marketing to our markets. And all of that was shortened for us because we literally just found people who were experts and was like, hey, listen, we're going to pay you 6 figures to teach us this area of marketing. We joined masterminds literally to get around people who are already making millions. I tell people, you go to these big conferences and stuff like that. And we were just telling some people that in Chicago, we just came back from Chicago. And we tell people, when you go to these big conferences and you see the speakers on the stage, you should be going to the speakers just asking like, hey, do you have a mastermind? Hey, Khang, do you have anything private? Do you offer private coaching? Whatever price they say, listen, can I get that information? Because that's where you're really going to get the most value. You get there, go to these bigger conferences to get around players. But to also, for us, we went to get around you guys so we can be like, hey, listen, what do you offer this private? Like, I know we here at the conference, what do you offer this private? What masterminds are you in? What masterminds do you recommend? Do you have a mastermind? Can we join it? That's what we did. We didn't have a problem with paying 30, 40, 50,000 if we knew.
You're going to get a return on it.
Right.
Yep. Gotcha. Wow. Okay. Whew. Okay. I got so much question asked, but I'm just going to narrow it down because of the time. So how much you guys made on your first wholesale deal?
Our first wholesale deal, we made $11,000 on.
Yep.
Wow. And that took you guys how long?
It took about 8 months. We actually found it on Facebook Marketplace, negotiated with the seller back and forth about 8 months, and finally got in the contract and we sold it, made about 11 grand.
Yep.
Gotcha. Okay. Man, there's just so much question, but okay, so let me ask you.
Our second wholesale deal we made.
No, our third.
Our third?
Our third wholesale deal was a virtual wholesale deal. We made $105,000.
Boom! My
One
dude.
wholesale deal.
Dang, and now what market is that in?
That was in Boston. So we're sitting in North Carolina. We send direct mail to absentee owner out of state in Boston. We get a call back. Guy was in New Jersey. He owned a triplex in Boston. He didn't want it. It was paid off. It was inherited. So he said, make me an offer. We said, how much do you want? He said, give me $500,000. So we did our research. In this area of Boston, the ARVs are 1.5 million for properties like that. If you buy it, you gut it, you make it into 3 condos. Each condo will sell for $500K. So 3 times $500K is 1.5 million. He only wanted $500,000 for the whole building.
Wow.
So we got it under contract for $475. We have boots on the ground there, and they handle a lot of the groundwork. But we did this all virtually from Boston. We found a cash buyer that paid $685. So we grossed $105,000 on that one deal.
Now, how? Gotcha. Dude, can you just imagine 105? So now, how do you guys find the buyer?
The buyer is actually through another investor in my network I've known for years. He's a big player up there. I contacted him and said, look, I got a property under contract. I asked him if he wanted to buy it. He wasn't quite in a position to pull the trigger on it, but he said, I may know a guy. There's actually a Vietnamese guy in Boston who ended up buying it. And yeah, so he connected us with the buyer.
Wow. So those of you listen, Asian will buy the deal, but they will never sell you a deal. Listen.
We learned that too. They'll buy it, but they won't sell you.
Dude, listen, I got people that joined the master, joined my web class, and they were literally spent 6 months. And I think that obviously they're in California, Sacramento. And I asked them, I said, wait a second, hold on. Before we say anything, what is the Asian population there? They're like probably 90%. I said, get the heck out of there, man. I said, get out of there. Asian will buy the deals, but it's hard. Like, dude, you will dig until you have nothing left to dig.
Why is that?
Dude,
why is that?
Why is that?
Yeah.
I get people ask me all the time. It's because Asian, when it comes to the Asian, dude, they were trained when they're a little baby. They will dig their grandpa up to get the loan before they sell it at a discount. So it's really hard. Yeah. Wow. Now I'm not being racist or anything. Asian, East Indian, dude, I don't even touch the East Indian, bro. Dude, Asian, like, dude. Bro,
we've experienced
that. You
that.
are right. We have two deals that we literally have, and the good thing is you got to have an Asian on your team because they have to be the one who handles those deals, because we've had 2 that reached out to us.
But I don't even think they'll sell to Khang. Like, will they sell to you?
Bro, they will sell to, dude. I don't care. They don't care if I'm Asian brother from another mother. They don't care. They don't care if I'm in the same city. But no, it's like no. It's like if those of you who's watching, if your market is a lot of Asian, listen to me. Comment in below and let me know. So if they sell you and it looks like a screaming deal, if it looks like a screaming deal, I promise you, checked on the deal. Like to you, it might seem like, wow, it's and it's coming from an Asian. I promise you, there gotta be something there. Because I wasted, dude, I had a deal, bro. I thought it was crazy. I was like, dude, we were going to make like, I think 50,000 on it, coming from an Asian. This is way back. And I spent so much time on it. I finally to realize that property has so much issue as being like dealing with the city, that the guy had broken so much rules with the city. And so he was trying to sell for many years, and they would squeeze out every single, so I end up pitching it. It went around to every single of my buyers knew about the deal.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So if you're in the Asian community, I'm telling you, I'm saving you time. I'm saving you some marketing money. Yep. Just get out of it, and just don't even waste time. So now let me ask you guys. So when it comes to market, I know you're in South Carolina. So how do you pick a market? Like, how do you pick Boston?
So we grew up in Boston. So we lived there for 30 years. So we had friends, family connections, tons of boots on the ground. So that's why we decided to focus on Boston. Of course, North Carolina, which is where we've been for almost 10 years now. Now we're actually in the Cleveland market, Cleveland, Ohio. The reason we picked that is because it's amazing cash flow. And we're not wholesalers. We are long-term buy and hold investors. We only wholesale and flip to build capital and cash to take down more buy and holds. So Cleveland is in the Midwest, Ohio, Indianapolis, those are amazing cash flow markets. So that's where we're investing a lot in now.
Key is having boots on the ground. So you gotta have boots on the ground in these different markets. So don't just pick a market because you're like, hey, look, great cash flow. And then you have no one to go see these properties, and you're building from the ground up. And you're trying to go back and forth between these different states and things. So key is have boots on the ground in whatever market you're trying to deep dive into, and then start building your team from there.
Gotcha. So now, how do you get the foot on the ground?
We do it through relationships.
Right.
If we're new to a city, what city are you in, Khang?
Seattle, Washington.
Seattle. So we say we get a lead in Seattle, right?
Yeah.
And we need somebody to go look at a property, or we need somebody to go meet with the seller. We would call Khang up. Hey, listen, I know you're in Seattle. Do you know anyone who can go over the property and take pictures? Do this or do that. We go off the trusted relationships in order to get that boots on the ground going.
Yep. Or we'll JV with someone else in that town. And see how they work. Family is also very good, because a lot of times we tell people, we've closed probably about a handful of deals that gross from 90,000 to 105,000. And from that very first six-figure one, we was like, our acquisitions guy got a check for $10,000. And all he did was he went to the property, he looked at the front, he called Dedrick and was like, yeah, I'm not gonna be able to get in. So that was literally all he did. Nothing else.
No squatters in the property.
No
conversing
with anyone. He didn't even go knock on the door and ask, like, hey, can I get in? Will you let me in? Or anything. He just looked and he was like, yeah, there's squatters in there. So yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be able to get in. And that was it. And he got 10,000 off that. So I told Dedrick, I said, we're not doing that again. We're gonna pay people now for performance. So our acquisitions managers, if you're not doing the negotiating, we do all the negotiations over the phone. So we have that deal locked up. We may ask you now, we'll call you and be like, hey, listen, we need you to go out and take pictures and video. That's it. And we'll pay you as soon as you come back. You're going to get a cash
$100 task or $200 task. It's not worth giving up a percentage of the deal for something like that. Exactly. Now, if you're negotiating, if you're meeting with the city and inspectors and cash buyers and doing showings, okay.
There you go.
You deserve a little more. But yeah, that's how we handle that.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay. So, oh my God. So the thing is, for those that listen, and I know you guys choose, and I want you guys to touch on this, because Cleveland, Ohio, because they're a market that is good to fix and flip, but it's not good for rental. And they're a market that's good for rental, but the fix and flip is just not, it's like it's the rental market. So there's like the rental market and the flipping market. So I guess I want to know, I know that there's other market out there that has cheap property that you can buy and really get really good cash flow as well. But why choose Cleveland, Ohio?
So yeah, like I was saying, Cleveland, you can just buy properties dirt cheap. We bought a six unit apartment building for $14,500. Brick apartment building, Khang.
Yeah.
Now it needs everything. It needs a gut rehab, but where else can you get an apartment building, 5,000 square foot for less than 15 grand? You can't anywhere else. So that's one of the reasons we chose Cleveland. And like you said, you have some markets that are hybrids. Some markets in a certain neighborhood of Seattle, it may be great for flips and bad for rentals. Maybe if you go to a C or D class neighborhood in Seattle, it's good for rentals, but it's not a good flip market. But I always tell people, I tell my wife this all the time, as an investor, you make your money when you buy. You make your profit when you buy. If you lock it in and you find a motivated seller and you make a deal where you get it at an amazing price, you can only win, whether you're flipping it, wholesaling it, keeping it, whatever. That's how it works.
Gotcha. Because I know, obviously some market, it's like appreciation. Other market, like you don't get appreciation, but the cash flow is there.
Absolutely.
Right?
Like Boston is an appreciation market. Like you get a property there, it's a long-term play. North Carolina, certain pockets, not the Charlotte, because we're in the Charlotte area, but when you get in these smaller cities, there are cities that you get great cash flow from, but it's not going to be an appreciation market. So you just got to know going into it what your end game is.
Gotcha. So now, how do you guys think about being out-of-state landlord?
So out-of-state landlord, it does present some challenges because, again, you're not there. So a toilet breaks or, a pipe bursts, you can't go and fix it, right? But that's where you have property management. So all of our properties out of state, we have professional property managers that run them. But of course, you have to manage the manager now, right? But it does take a lot of headaches off your plate when you do have, I recommend highly to get, if you have properties out of state, hire professional property management. And so it costs you 7 to 10% of the rents collected, but it's worth it to reduce the headaches of you being 1,000 miles away and trying to handle repairs.
And everything is negotiable. So even their fee is negotiable because my husband negotiates even their percentage. He doesn't go with the first number thrown out for anything. But we also won't, out of state, anything outside of our backyard, we won't buy unless it's 4 units or more. So that also helps with the headache. So we don't have a bunch of single family houses all over the place. It has to be 4 units or more outside of our North Carolina market.
Gotcha. Okay. I mean, like, I'm afraid to get on the phone with you guys when it comes to negotiating. After the stories, I'm afraid to get on the phone. So now, so let's talk about this really quickly. The 16 units. Give me the number really quick. After it's rehab, what are we talking about ARV?
So the one in Cleveland we bought, and we have a YouTube video on this that's gotten a huge amount of views. Once we fix it up, it should be worth about $350 to $400. Both the buildings. It's right near University, Cleveland University Clinic, which is Cleveland Clinic, world-renowned medical institution. So it should cash flow about $4,000 a month once it's renovated.
Each building.
So total 16 units will give you guys a cash flow of $4,000 net to you in your pocket per month.
Yeah, no, it's about 12 units total.
Yeah, so it's $4,000 each building.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's $8,000 cash flow.
Okay, gotcha. Got it. Wow, holy smokes. Okay, so now let's talk about lists. I know what list do you guys target?
There's quite a few lists that we target.
Some good one.
Depends on what I'm interested in us buying and holding. So I have multifamily lists.
She's a list whisperer.
And I have mobile home park lists. So my multifamily list are all of my lists I typically go for is older landlords. So because I know what market we live in.
We just met with one today.
Right, from one of those exact same lists.
How old is he? About 85?
Yeah, like
owned
80.
a 7 unit in Greensboro. We just literally came back.
One of his properties. We live in an area where it's a lot of old tyrant landlords, and a lot of them own 30 plus units. So my list that I like to target, not like the wide list, like, oh, an absentee owner list. We do, one of our gold mine lists are vacant property lists. So vacant property lists in North Carolina, not Boston. And that's the part of knowing your market.
Seattle's going to be a similar market. If you're in a city like Seattle, Boston, San Francisco, good luck, know, because you got so many sharks going after those vacant properties.
It don't matter if it's vacant or not. These people still know what they're sitting on. They don't care.
You need to go after that little podunk city with like 20, 30,000 people where you're not competing with the Khangs and the Polites. You want to go after that where you could just pick off some deals.
Right. And
that's good.
Like I said, so in Boston, I tell people, the list like that I sent out that we got the $105,000 deal was a absentee owner, purchased prior to 85, out of state landlord, with how much equity did I put in there?
No mortgage, 100%.
No mortgage, 100%, owned free and clear. Yeah. And I think that was it. And I told people the reason,
like 67.
Yeah, it came down to like 67, 68 names. And I told people, I said, the reason why I did that is because Boston is booming right now. I said, the reason why I said specifically out of state landlord is because I don't want anyone to know what is happening in this state. Because
if you got eyes and you there, you can see what's going on.
Man, girl. Woo!
I told you.
And that
whisper to me.
So I need them to be out of state. And from that list, we got about 4 deals. But all of them were out of state. None of them had a clue of what was going on in Boston. So the number that they threw out was a lowball number to us anyway, because they didn't know that their property is now worth $1 million. They just wanted to get rid of it. So that's why I tell people it's really imperative that you not focus on, let me get a deal, but learn your market first.
Deep dive,
analyze what's really going on in your market, because then you're able to market to sellers a lot better and more educated.
Gotcha. Okay. And now oh my God. So once you have the list, what marketing tactic, Queen, that we should hit? Whisper to me. Whisper, I'm here.
The one for those deals came from Deal Machine. So I threw that small filtered list into Deal Machine.
And she didn't drive. She literally sitting in North Carolina, driving for dollars on her iPhone with the Deal Machine app and sending these people direct mail from North Carolina.
Yes. And uploaded all the pictures from Google Maps, and I sent off the postcards, and our phone blew up.
So we made $105,000 from sending a silly little postcard like this.
That was just from one of the deals.
Wow. Okay. So.
Okay. Go ahead.
Gotcha. Okay. So that's okay. So you use Deal. I guess beside Deal Machines, what other ways are you guys targeting these seller?
So we use cold calling,
which we did first before we even found out about Deal Machine.
Yep, we were doing cold calling.
And we outsourced the cold calling. We hired cold callers, and they passed us the warm leads.
Yep.
What else have we done?
Now we do ringless voicemail as well. REI Rail.
Okay.
That's huge for us right now. We've been killing it with REI Rail, and it took us a while to get into it because
we didn't jump on it soon like everyone else. We just started doing ringless voicemail this year. I know people have been doing it for years, crushing it.
And we were just kind of stubborn. Once I found Deal Machine, I was like, man, we're getting leads left and right. And we signed up for REI Rail at We Live 2018.
Gotcha. Okay. So now, so let's touch base on Deal Machine. Is there a code that I can get from you guys?
Yes. So
what's the code?
Our code, people have them go to getdealmachine.com, getdealmachine.com. And then the code is our last name. So it's B as in Brian, E as in Edward, and then our last name Polite. BEPOLITE is the code, and your viewers will get their first 30 postcards for free. So basically, got 30 postcards, $30 in value for free. They can send out to get those mailers going.
Everybody wants some freebies around here, man. So now,
Okay,
yeah. So, and then the next one I want to talk about is REI Rail. That's from what, Maxwell?
Yeah, yeah,
yes.
from Max.
Is there a code?
Yes.
Yeah, what's our code on that?
And it is also Be Polite. So I'll send you the link to it, and it's
We'll put
REI Rail / Be Polite. So
Awesome. So, yep, awesome. So I'll put the link in the descriptions. So as far as your cold caller, you guys get VAs, or do you guys hire someone like in the U.S.?
We have someone in the U.S. who does it. We started with VAs. It did not work, and we had the VAs for like a year.
Mm-hmm.
And it just did not work in our market. So then I said, okay, listen, we'll pay someone $8 an hour to do our cold calling here. And so we hired her, and she's been amazing with cold calling for us and getting the leads in.
Okay. And now I think everybody wants to know, so how much do you pay, or like, how do you pay your cold caller?
So she gets paid $8 an hour.
Okay.
She doesn't just do cold calls. She does outbound cold calls, but she also qualifies our inbound leads.
Yep, so
as
she
well.
handles both.
Okay.
And we're actually going to now train her on the art of negotiating. So I'm trying to literally move away from, in 2020, acquisitions managers, and strictly do all of our negotiating over the phone, and getting these deals locked up over the phone. So that's where we're headed for 2020. That's like one of our on our to-do list.
Gotcha. Okay. So right now you guys haven't completely gone virtual yet.
I mean, we're
virtual.
Okay.
Yeah.
When we have our acquisitions managers now, they will go if we need pictures taken or video. That's literally the only thing we use them for. Dedrick now does all the negotiating over the phone.
Okay.
I want to move him from that and move it on to her.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to do, is to get him from doing any of the negotiating for our out-of-state
I'll
deals.
just be negotiating, $1 million plus deals, apartment buildings, dealing with investors.
Right. We have a lot of tired landlords who we're negotiating packages of 40 units, 30 units, mobile home parks, commercial buildings and units and farms. We had one guy who wants to sell his horse farm.
100 acres.
100 acres.
Okay.
So move him more towards that, because we're trying to get into development. So.
Wow. Okay. Gotcha. You guys. Okay. I know that the Polite has a ton more content on their page, because I think we're running out of time. So I'm going to have them share with you guys, how can we connect with the Polite and play the game with you?
Yeah, you can follow us on all things Be Polite on social media. So Instagram at Be Polite Properties, Facebook Be Polite Properties. Of course, YouTube. You can follow Crystal Polite, Dedrick Polite, YouTube. Oh, can't forget YouTube. We share tons of content on YouTube. We do a vlog style, so we're traveling around. We're in and out of these houses. We're doing our thing. And again, it's not just real estate. We're going to be showing more about other business ventures that we're launching in 2020 and how you can diversify your income streams. And we have a course that we put out. So a lot of people have been asking us, how do I do it? How do I generate leads? How do I drive for dollars? How do I use Deal Machine? So we came out with this program and showing you how to do exactly what we've done using Drive for Dollars and Deal Machine. So I'll send a link to Khang if you want to chat with our team or check out our program. It's drivingfordollarscourse.com. Drivingfordollarscourse.com. We offer free strategy sessions with that, where you'll speak with our team members and they'll evaluate your marketing and recommend how you can grow your business.
Awesome.
And we have a private Facebook group that you and your wife need to join.
What is it? Come on, girl. Whisper to me.
The Copreneur.
Wait, the what?
The Copreneur, COPRENEUR. The Copreneur stands for couples and entrepreneurship.
Couples and entrepreneurship had a baby, and it's called the Copreneur. They were doing some whispering.
Let's go in there and whisper, dude. I like that. Okay. Okay. So So I make sure that I'll put their link all below, you guys. Now, I just want one feedback for the new, the one that's beginning or starting out. whether they're single or or obviously they're doing this as a couple.
Okay, you want to do one with the single?
My tip would be to take action, right? Don't be like I was, where you're just analysis paralysis mode forever. Take action, and you're going to make mistakes when you start taking action, but learn from those mistakes. Try to seek out a mentor or a coach. Don't be afraid to pay for that knowledge. You're either going to have to pay with time or with money. Figure out which one works for you, pay for the knowledge, and start taking action and making stuff happen.
And if you're a couple starting out, I would definitely say sit down, have a meeting, and it can't be Google eyes over the table and holding hands. It has to be a real business
meeting,
strategy meeting, where you literally sit down and align your goals early on and say, hey, listen, these are our goals. Your goals, make sure your goals align as a couple, and define your roles in this company early on. So from those roles, you're really only playing to your strengths, and you're not crossing over. I don't step on his toes with what he does. He don't step on my toes with what I do. We literally have clearly defined roles. Every week we have a business meeting, just us. I mean, we talk about business all day, every day, but we have a set one on the calendar where it is specific business, and we are putting the blueprint for the week going forward. Hey, this is what our week should look like, so we're both on the same page. So I would say, as a couple, if you're a partner, that's definitely how I would start out.
Boom. Crystal and Deidre, thank you so much, you guys, for your time to jump on here with me. Dropping bombs. I really appreciate it. For everyone that's listening, I'll make sure I'll put all their links and everything down below. You must follow them. I mean, after all that, and you don't, I don't know what to say, man, because they're going to whisper some secret into your ears to make you a boatload of money. So I want to say thank you so much, you guys. Everyone that's watching, thank you so much. And until next time, you guys, take care and ciao.
Thanks for having us.
Yep, bye.